All right, I'm here with my client, Chad Garnes, who just started with me a month back. And Chad, you came to me. You're a jiu-jitsu athlete, and you also work in a profession that can be very demanding in terms of your fitness as well as your performance and being sort of on top of your game. With all this stuff. What was it that made you decide to take a chance and get on this remote coaching program with me?
Yeah, I think it was a moment where sort of things collided where uh, I was trying to balance sort of load management, as we talked about, between doing jujitsu 3 to 4 days a week, trying to hit the gym 3 days plus a week, trying to do some cardio as well, recovery from that, and just sort of needing some direction on how to balance all of that out.
Very good. And so what made you feel as if you needed some direction? Like, had you fallen off with your workouts, or had you like experienced a declination in performance? You tell me.
Yeah, I really felt through. I mean, I was kind of doing the workouts, but I started out lifting, working out, all my life really back in high school and started jujitsu about 3 plus years ago. And I was getting to the point where I felt like I needed to continue working out, lifting weights in the gym to support jujitsu as opposed to just lifting being my primary course of sort of physical activity. But I was having trouble, with how much do I push in the gym? What kind of program do I do there to lift that supports jujitsu and doesn't pull away from that? I mean, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not a professional athlete or anything like that. Obviously, I'm just trying to get as much out of my body as I can. In a couple of different areas of through physical fitness and jujitsu.
Awesome. Okay. So next question would be, we're 1 month in on a 6 month program. What have your results been like so far?
I kind of figured that this topic would come up, and so addressing it sort of the best way that drives from the point, but then also directly to the point. I guess I would say my workouts prior to joining the program. I was squatting 185. It was a confidence issue of getting up to. I've squatted up to 375 before, like a long time ago. Days of hitting 225, I was like, I don't know how my back's going to feel. I don't know how my recovery is going to be from this. And so maybe prior to starting the program, the highest I've squatted was probably 205, 215. Um, for me, I was like, hey, this is only where I'm comfortable going. I don't want to push past this because I don't want any kind of injuries. And just this Monday, I'm squatting 294. You had programmed, a 1 rep, and then, if you can get more, get more. Once I racked it at 295, I was like, I had probably four more.
Yeah,
As far as the bench press, we talked about having some shoulder jujitsu doesn't help that shoulder elbow issues and stuff. And so, as
for
you
sure.
prescribed some exercises that I had never seen before, we added those in, and I'm benching now. I hit 225 for 3 reps, almost finished the fourth, which was another metric that I thought that I was just sort of like, hey, that was in the past. I'm not going to hit that again. For deadlifts, I hit 405 on trap bar. Mechanically, that's a little bit easier, but I was super happy to have been able to push. Prior to that, I haven't done over probably 225, 275 for years. For conventional deadlift, our retest recently, we did 365 for two. That went up quick, felt great, and I kind of cut it because again, it's a confidence issue of like, hey, I don't know where I can go from here. But I mean, that's 4 or 5 weeks in, and I think as we were talking on Monday after the workout, my goal after 6 months of this program, I would have been super happy, content to if I could hit 315 on a squat, I could hit 400 on a deadlift, and then if I benched 225 for one, that would be amazing. And I feel like I sort of regained some of that my old glory days, from my youth. But I've already hit it like 5 weeks in, and I'm just shy of the squat. I think I'm right there at the deadlift, and obviously I've already hit the bench. So, uh, I'm super excited to keep going. I can't wait to get into the next phase of the program.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And so important points here, right? So I think it's a common thing, especially for combat sport athletes, and people, who work in jobs where there can be these kinds of difficulties or challenges, right? Where you don't want to mess yourself up for what you have to face, right? You don't want to mess yourself up for practice. You don't want to show up to the mats all, super fatigued. So that creates kind of this conundrum where you're like, I'm not going to push it so hard today with the weights. I want to leave some of the tank. And you certainly have been leaving things in the tank as we've pushed you, to your towards your higher potential in terms of strength. But which is okay though, right? Because that's been kind of calculated and kind of a negotiation between sort of my demands as your coach and your own like sense of what's safe for you, which is good, right? You're keeping yourself safe, but you're letting yourself be pushed at the same time. The real question beyond that is like, granted, you didn't expect these kinds of results this soon. Like you just said, you'd be happy with these results 6 months in. But the real question is, do you feel a difference in your performance on the mats, at work, etc., from getting back to like these levels of strength?
Yeah, I think I'd mentioned to you earlier that confidence was a big issue for me for getting under the bar again of back squats I had not done for a long time, and just working up to some of these weights, which I haven't done for a long time. And so I would say that's also sort of lifted the confidence on the mats as well. With I know where I know where I can go strength wise, and I can push myself a little harder. I'm not going to fatigue as much. I'm not having as much soreness after hard rolls. My body seems to be a little more resilient since we started the program.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Chad, I'm super encouraged by your results thus far. Like you said, we have 5 more months to go. There may be people out there who are kind of on the fence who may have been sort of looking at my stuff for a while now, or who have just been thinking about like pushing themselves and getting some accountability and some support from me or elsewhere, right? For their performance jujitsu athletes and this sort of thing. What would you say to those people who are on the fence, who are kind of like maybe in the position you were in a little over a month ago?
Yeah. So, initially I would say I have not done a one on one like this before for strength and conditioning, so I didn't really know entirely what to expect. And here we are, first phase in, a couple of weeks into the program, and I'm completely sold. I think it's been phenomenal. You mentioned accountability. I think that accountability piece has been helpful as well because there's certainly been days that I've walked into,
Are you there, Chad? Yeah, I'm here. Shit. There you are.
hey, sorry about that.
No problem. So you were saying about accountability.
Yeah. So, that was one of the things you mentioned as far as having the coaching. I had never had that one on one strength and conditioning coach before. So I wasn't sure what to expect there. But you've been super responsive, um, day, night. You've certainly been encouraging, whether it's jujitsu related, lifting related. Hey, I need to pull back on this. I need to add this.
Looks like I've lost you again.